Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. I got a fun and interesting, well, hopefully interesting episode for you. I've got CoolUncle Marisa. I watched a few of her videos and I just thought she's super interesting, super different to all the other people I've had on the show. So, hey Marisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you for reaching out.
Cool. Yeah, maybe kind of tell us a little bit about what you're doing on YouTube, like the kind of vibe you're going for.
Yeah, so the channel sort of divided into 3 segments of CoolUncle's mods, CoolUncle's Corner, and CoolUncle's reviews. The mods are sort of more the focus, and it's a lot of mainly handheld modding, mainly Game Boy line games. And then the corner is just tangential things. Like I've done things like show off unique controllers, things like that. And then reviews is as it sounds, which is product reviews. Generally, it's stuff that I'm actually interested in and maybe will get myself as opposed to people sending them to me, because otherwise I think I'd be reviewing lawn chairs because I get some really random review requests. I don't know if you get those too.
No, actually, I don't at all.
It's a pity.
Lawn chairs. Yeah, so I mean, like I say, I was just super intrigued by your channel. I don't know if you've had a look at mine, but I'm very focused on the retro emulation space. So all the cool little retro handhelds that have been coming out. You popped up on my feed with that. I'm just busy going through your channel now. I think it might have been this Miu Mini video. And I had just been watching videos and people saying how chilled conversational style of video is very much coming back to YouTube. And I was like, wow, this person is really on trend. I think you're really doing great with what you're doing. And I'm enjoying your emulation stuff and then getting into, so I get a lot of people asking me about modding and that sort of thing, but I don't really do that. And I like, you know, you have that thing like, I'm going to get into modding eventually, but I just never do. Yeah. But yeah, you seem to be really into it.
Yes.
It might be for the best. Why do you say that?
It's a money sink, and it's like, it gives you an adrenaline rush of repairing things, upgrading things, like bringing things back to life that other hobbies necessarily don't. But then also it gives you such a crash when you fail and you're just like,
okay.
I don't deserve to be alive. This is just, how could I not do this correctly? Whereas I guess emulation devices, you just buy it and you're like, yay.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because I think generally the people in our world are not adrenaline junkies. So I just love the fact that you're like, it gives me an adrenaline rush, you know, because our sense of what an adrenaline rush is compared to like real adrenaline junkies is very different.
It's true.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, you seem to be super technical. Like, I mean, I must be honest, some of your stuff went over my head. I was like, I'm not sure what she's talking about. So, I mean, that's impressive. And I think the thing that I enjoyed about your content is how you seem like, I try to do this. I mean, I'm doing my whole own thing, but you seem to weave like a vlog, like the stuff that I used to watch when, you know, a lot of these YouTubers, like pre-Casey Neistat, where people would just sit on the couch and be like, hey guys, you seem to weave that plus reviews and all that sort of thing. And I think you've done it like perfectly.
That's something that I really appreciate. And whenever people tell me like, oh, you're so like relaxed and I like the vibe of your videos and stuff, it's funny because I never set out to do a specific vibe. I knew that I didn't want to do the kind of like, hey guys, welcome to my channel kind of thing, because that's exhausting. But also like, I think it probably adds that I don't use scripts. I just talk off the cuff. And I'm an actor, so it's just easier for me. So I think that might just be what ended up happening, because I never really, and I always wanted to make things accessible, and I'm trying to make sure to, you know, I've had some people say like, oh, things are getting very technical. And I'm like, okay, how do I make sure there's a nice even mix?
Okay. So you kind of you actually are consciously mixing things up a bit.
Yeah, because I want ultimately for people to be like, it's not that hard to exercise my right to repair. And if Game Boys are the gateway to that, which they were for me, then great.
Yeah. Listening to I've been kind of sharing with my regular audience how I have this channel, but what I've been doing up until this time, for the longest time, is drones, and I've started to build FPV drones and all that kind of thing, and it's probably why I haven't gone into modding games, because I'm too busy building drones, which is the same thing. It's like, it's a huge rush, like getting all the parts and putting it together, and I'm like, I made this, and then taking it to the field and it crashes.
Oh no.
or like taking it to the field and the video doesn't work or whatever. So yeah, I know your pain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there you go. That's cool though. I didn't know that was like a niche.
Yes, it was huge a while back. So I was just kind of riding a little bit of the trend a while back, and then quit for whatever reason. And now I'm back in it, and it's not super big. Like, I have a little channel that I just post stuff there to document my journey on that, because I want to just remember how I sucked, and maybe when I'm better one day, because it's a massive learning curve. Yeah. So I don't think it'll ever be like a big YouTube channel for me.
I mean, archival is a big reason I think I started mine too.
Well, I'm going to take credit, because I've met you in the beginning, because I know that your channel is going to grow. So we can say, because she was on Aiden's show, she went huge.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. We'll always credit your success to me.
Yes. It'll be in the last line of every description where the copyright stuff is.
Yes. No, because I get annoyed when I speak, like, because I've spoken to so many people that kind of just progress much further than me. And I mean, you can speak to this, but I only see a video from a year ago on your channel. Is that how long you've been going?
Yeah.
I'm so upset. Me and a friend, Rudy, have been doing this for like 7 years. Obviously, I don't know if I mentioned to you, I seem to tell everyone, because I've been processing it for the last like year and a half. I was diagnosed with ADHD, which kind of makes so much sense, because I've stopped and started so many things in my life. And actually, the diagnosis is one of the reasons that I stuck to what I'm doing now, because I've done about 6 different things on YouTube. So I have to ask, because now when scrolling through, I haven't actually watched the video, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the name. But what inspired the name CoolUncle, Marisa?
Yeah, a couple of things. So I wanted to have a channel that was a name that was personable. It's not like abstract of like retro Marisa, or I don't know, something, and then there's like, for example, there's that one YouTuber like Uncle Roger, and I really just like that, having, or like people who are like your cool friend, or like your friend, or like, and there's a character in Craig of the Creek called Small Uncle. It's like a kind of show within the show of like a Sesame Street parody.
All right.
And he's just this little figure. He's like got an onion head, and I thought he was really cute. So I was like, maybe like Small Uncle, but I don't know if they would get that. And also there's this like popular tweet that's like, a lesbian is like if a girl was an uncle, and it just, it was inspired by those things. Yes. And people have since also mentioned the whole, like, my uncle works at Nintendo. And a lot of people thought that was the reason for it. So
all right.
I was like, that's a good third layer. It's like a bean dip.
Like a bean dip. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But so, I mean, then I actually think I did click on this video. I just can't remember now. It's the I Will Never Be a Man. Did that have something to do? CoolUncle confesses, I'm not your real uncle. What was that all about?
Yeah. For some reason, transphobes really like to comment on my channel and be transphobic.
Transphobes? I thought you said trans folks. Okay.
No.
All right.
Trans folks also like to comment on my channel, but they're all positive comments.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't care with transphobia being directed at me because I'm not trans, so it doesn't hurt my feelings, but it hurts my like general feelings of you should not be spreading hatred like this. And I try to, you know, have a pretty strong comment filter because I don't want the actual trans people watching my videos to see all this hatred in the comments.
I see. Okay.
And it's also ironic because the modding community, the Game Boy community, the retro gaming community is there's so many trans people in it. So it's like, if you're watching this video and you're not okay with it, then maybe you shouldn't be a part of this community.
Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. So it was a pretty serious video.
But yes, I would get comments like, you'll never be a man, or like, so yeah. I don't want to be a man.
I was in a situation where there was a bit of an argument last night, and like, I love it when someone is saying something very, very ignorant and they don't know that they're saying something ignorant. And I don't know how to explain this in such abstract terms, but you're going, no, like, you'll never be a man. And you're like, no, I won't, you know. Like,
I don't want to. That's
the
terrifying.
commentary is just so dumb, you know. Dear. Yeah. So that is fun. Okay, cool. All right. This I'm quite keen to hear now. You said that you're an actor. Are you a working actor? Is that your day job? That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Oh, it's not my like complete day job yet.
Okay.
I'm like actually this year been trying to break into legit. But I've done a lot of like theater and like small films and stuff.
Wow. Cool.
So, but because of that, I've never really had a day job because I'm used to that sort of, the art is the main thing, but it doesn't bring in like a lot of money. So I just do whatever part-time job.
Yeah. Starving artist.
Get at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Joey and Friends. Okay. Well, I've got a lot of respect for that. I had a brief moment in the local film industry. Like my business is I do video and stuff for social media, and not so long ago I directed like a little film. So I've been in it I did a little bit of it, and yeah, it's rough. And I mean, that's in South Africa, so I can only imagine where you are. It's pretty intense. It's
also just a strange time now because everyone said things are going to look back up in 2024. And then they didn't. And now everyone's saying 2025, there's like finally going to be like new pilots and new material.
Okay.
And, you know, fingers crossed. But since COVID and then the strikes and stuff, there's been a lot of just safe investments by the rich people who run everything.
Okay.
Which is, we've seen a lot of remakes and reboots and
franchises. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not always very good.
It's interesting. That's such an interesting perspective from an actor on the ground. Like, because, I mean, I enjoy a lot of those films. I'm just a consumer on the other end of the world. And to hear you say, like, those big movies can actually be bad for, like, just people trying to break into the industry. And it makes sense because they're just running on big names. They're, you know, like, there's not a lot of people in the films, so yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, someone recently said there was like all of the Hollywood actors are now doing Broadway, so all the Broadway actors are doing off Broadway, and all of those actors are doing regional theater. So,
yeah. So what's left for everyone else? Yeah, that's rough, man. Whoa. Okay. Well, that got sad very quickly. But you said you have a partner, so I'm guessing you kind of support each other and kind of work through it together.
Yeah. It's a very lucky situation. We've both been on different sides of the equation before, so it's equitable.
Yeah, same with us. I mean, I took a very long time to get my shit together, and my wife was there for me, you know. And well, at the beginning, she was studying, and I was like, let's do this. I had a BA degree, which is very useful in the commerce world. And so we went off to a town in the middle of the country, and I just did whatever I could, scraped whatever I could to support her. And then, I mean, it paid off. Then she started a business here. She supported me. And, you know, that's how it goes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's similar for you guys.
Yeah. She wants to get into like music, but it was a bit of like okay, like you go first kind of thing. But then there were also periods where we both had to like work a lot because neither of us come from like a lot of money. So it's just trying to keep our heads above water a lot.
So is she also in creative industry? Because you said music.
Yeah, she doesn't, that's not her day job, but she's interested in getting into music. She sings and she has a very pretty voice, but
cool.
Yeah.
Because, well, that's what I was trying to do for the longest part of my life, is be a musician. And it's not easy in South Africa. So, yeah, eventually I had to just give up on that.
It seems like you've tried a lot of different things, though. So that's...
Yes. And yet it was a surprise to me when I was diagnosed with ADHD at 40 years old. Yeah. Yeah, I posted a thing on Twitter today. I was like, I do not have ADHD. In other news, I built a drone today. I organized a shoot. I do like so many random things in one day. But I've managed to focus now, you know, which is great. I do other random things just to keep my brain active, but then I make sure I'm still doing the main thing, you know. That's kind of a little ADHD hack for the friends out there who have ADHD. Okay, well, I think I've got a good idea. But take us through a day in your life. So you're breaking out into acting. You're doing YouTube. You said you struggle with sleep. So I'm guessing your daily routine is interesting.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't really have a routine, which is probably not good according to like the health and lifestyle YouTubers. But I go to sleep. I try to go to sleep around before 3 a.m. There was last week I was having a lot of trouble and not falling asleep till like 4 or 5, and then not like my body would just while I'm asleep and
not
then
sure what that is, but
up,
okay, sounds bad.
It was just like my brain was asleep and my body was like, no, you have to wake up, and I'm like, body, stop it.
That's
but
rough.
I took like a sleep gummy and it helped. But yeah, wake up hour depends on what I'm supposed to do. But generally for work, I'm waking up 10:30 to 11. And then I do, right now, the part-time job is like social media publishing. So I just wake up.
So we're in the same space.
Post the things. Yeah, but I don't have to use my brain. I just copy and paste things.
Cool.
It's great. And then, yeah, I mean, the days are different. Like yesterday, I did that, and then I went to meet with a casting agent, and then I came home, and like I might play games or something in the middle or at the end. It's every day is very different. I think I generally record my videos on the weekends, the talking heads parts, but it's whenever I have free time.
All right.
There's no routine. It's terrible. I've been trying to stretch every day.
Yeah, but you say that, but it does sound like your issues with sleep are the solution is very similar to ADHD, because you do seem to, even though you say you don't have a routine, you kind of do, you know, and that's the key for me as well. If I don't have like workable goals to work towards, or things that I know I can do that will give me a feeling of success, I just will never get up in the morning, you know. So yeah, it sounds like a similar kind of field, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. It's like if I don't have a reason to get up at a certain time, like I might just stay in bed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Do you have any pets? Because I'm a huge dog fan. Do you?
Oh, no, I don't have any dogs. I have 3 cats.
Okay, cool. I'm just, there's a friend of mine who I think she doesn't like any of the gaming stuff that I do, but I think she's going to love this episode with you. She's she's very similar. Like she's a huge cat person. Just, I don't know. I think she'll enjoy you. Anyway.
Yeah, I love cats. Unfortunately, they're not very nosy, so I can't show them off to you. But I love animals, and I've worked in animal care a bit as well. But it's very hard to do unless you're committing your life to it, because you have to be in a position to be able to fix everything, and if you're not, then you have to deal with a lot of like BS and poor treatment of animals, and just be like, I'll do what I can, but I always want to do more, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're one of those people who's like, you can't just go halfway. You have to be all in.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day I saved a duck off the street because animal control, I called them and I was like, there's a duck on the street. And they're like, unfortunately, we can't help you outside of business hours. And I'm like, this duck is going to get hit by a car. She's not going to go stay at an Airbnb. And they're like, sorry. So I had to catch a duck.
Sorry, that was hilarious. I had to catch a duck.
We chased her for several blocks. She ran into the subway, and then
oh my gosh,
I was like, I have to catch this duck.
I'm just picturing you guys running into the subway after a duck. It literally seems like a classic New York comedy. Oh, good times. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So you're my hero. You save animals. Yeah, like literally in South Africa, if I phoned whoever I'd have to phone about a duck in the street, they would laugh at me. I mean, you know, because I mean, it's also different places. Like things are far more severe here with animals, you know, so they got their hands full with overpopulation of dogs and mistreatment of dogs. So like, that's probably the biggest thing. So like a dying duck would be like very low on their to-do list.
Well, if you ever need to catch one, just make sure you go from behind and hold its neck so it can't poke you in the eye.
Thanks for the expert advice, because you are now an expert, obviously.
Definitely. That's
okay, cool. Well,
my new YouTube channel.
Yes, yeah, saving ducks. I had to catch a duck.
Yes.
It could be you could write a kiddies book. I think that's why I thought it was so comical, because I had to catch a duck sounded like the title of a kid's book.
That'd be cute.
Okay, so gaming, because we are gamers, and that is probably what we should talk about. What? Okay, so let's talk about your person. What retro games are you playing right now?
I just finished Abe's Odyssey on PlayStation, and it was very impressive. Like the mechanics of the game, because it's like platforming meets maybe like the Lemmings kind of.
You know Lemmings? Wow, Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, it came on one of those 500 games in one CDs, and then I didn't understand how you actually played it because I was very small. But
well, thanks for that.
I played that.
You make me feel very old, but that's okay. I'll forgive you.
No, maybe you were just smarter than me.
No, because I was well into my 20s when I was playing Lemmings. Okay. There you go. Is this the game, Abe's Odyssey?
Which one?
Okay, you can't see it. The viewers can see it.
No. Okay.
I'm guessing this is the gameplay. There we go. I'm just putting it on the screen share. Oh, wow. Wow, that is impressive graphics as well, huh? Okay.
I would recommend, if you are not a retro game pain liker, which I am not, to play the Switch version so that you don't have to redo entire levels after you die.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah. Yeah, the Switch has, for all the what you call it, the shit we give Switch and Nintendo and all that sort of thing. The remakes and the, what do you call it? What do people call it when they reboot a game like that? But they have chosen some really good games to do that with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't give Switch any shit. It was my idea.
Okay. It was your idea?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Are you saying the Switch was your idea?
Yes, when I was in college, I was like, gosh, wouldn't it be fun to be able to play these things handheld and then on the big screen? And I was told this is not possible. And then Shigeru Miyamoto infiltrated my brain and he took the idea.
Yeah, that is exactly what
There
happened.
are people in the comments who are going to take this seriously and they're going to be like, no, he did it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that because I was agreeing with you. So we could have run with this for months. Okay, cool. Okay, so what did you emulate that on?
I didn't. I played it on I played it on my PS2.
Oh, I see. Okay, you're hardcore. Okay, cool. And then in terms of like modern consoles, what are you into? Are you a PlayStation person, Xbox, Steam Deck, all of them?
Yeah, I have a Steam Deck, a PS4.
Correct. Okay.
And Switch. I was excited about the PS5 when it was happening, but then my housemate at the time got one and I was like, why is it so big? And I was like, okay, well, maybe when there's new games for it, but then they didn't release any games for it. And so and I think the only game that I would buy it for, which would be Kingdom Hearts 4, is probably going to come out on PC anyway.
Yes. Well, see, this is the thing. So I had growing up, I couldn't afford a lot of these things. So when I've now sort of re-entered like the gaming world, I'm discovering everything for the first time. I'm playing a lot of the games that you probably played growing up. I'm like playing all of those games on the Steam Deck. And for me, as someone, I never owned a PlayStation, I don't think. No, I don't think I ever actually owned one. So I've got all these memories of games. Like someone brought up a game the other day and I was like, yes, remember when I played that? And like, oh yeah, Wolfenstein 3D was one of my favorite games. Like I loved that. And then I thought back and I was like, I don't remember where I played them, but I played them. I was like, I will find a PC and I will sit for hours and against someone's will and play it there in their house. So I don't know how I managed that. But now, I can afford these things and I got the Steam Deck. And for me, I don't see a point of getting anything else. For me, that's it. Like I've got a Steam Deck, I plug it into my TV, I can play my game in big formats and I don't see any reason to get anything else.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sad. But actually, I did not grow up playing video games either because it was like a kind of like lack of being able to afford it, but also my mom was really against video games.
Okay.
So I had like a few, and I got my PS2 Slim by kind of scamming my mom, and then one of my friends gave me some JRPGs because they were too like girly for him, and that was I fell into that rabbit hole.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Well, then while we're on that, what is your sort of scene in terms of games? I mean, is it that sort of typical, stereotypical, like girly scene, or do you play like all sorts?
My main like favorites are like JRPGs that are not the weird fan servicey ones. And
that sounds like you're deep into it.
I like platformers. And
same.
for example, I recently played Blasphemous and I really enjoyed it. I'd really enjoyed Hollow Knight as well. Like action platformers or whatever you call 3D platformers like Mario and stuff are always a really good time as well.
Yes.
And anything that's just innovative or clever or has a really good story.
Yeah. Okay. So I just quickly had a look. What was the game you mentioned now? Like I'm enjoying a lot of those sorts of games like Hollow Knight. Someone suggested that I play Cult of the Lamb. And have you played it yet?
I haven't. I'm kind of so confused. Like it seems like it's a management, like a management game.
Well, that's because I'm not a huge fan of those games. It feels too like mobile gamey kind of vibe. But I think they've managed to kind of crossover. So it's what do you call it when it's you see from slightly from above, and you're doing an action role play, and you're fighting things. I don't know what that sort of game is called. So it's that. Okay. Plus you go back to your cult and you manage your cult, and then you go back and you defeat the baddies and you come back every time. So yeah, the management part is not my favorite part of any game, but I love it's very cute. Like it's a really sweet, cute with occult symbolism. So, like I get a kick out of it. So because coming from a very like fundamentalist Christian background, I'm playing this game and I'm like, hey, you know.
Okay. So it sounds like I might enjoy it. I might check it out because I really like Moonlighter, which similarly, it's like a kind of dungeon crawler by night. And then during the day, you manage your shop. And I don't like shop management or like farm sims or anything. But there's just something so like relaxing about you got as far in the dungeon as you can, and now you're annoyed and tired. So you just go and like sell things. And there's like also these additional mechanics where you have to stop people from like stealing from your shop and things like that.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool. There's already some cool game recommendations there. Well, actually, because I'm now talking to you, I'm not sure you are like into it the way I am. Are you into retro emulation per se?
No, I mean, I'm into the original devices more, but I think emulation is good for the stuff that I don't want to get. For example, there's a lot of SNES games that I want to play that I'm hoping to finally get around to playing on like either my Miu Mini Plus or the Ambernic RG28XX. Or like Dreamcast games. It's like, I'm not going to buy those. Sega Mega Drive, those things. I'm not going to buy them, so I'll emulate them. But right now I haven't really gotten to that point because I have so many things in the backlog that I physically have that I need to play because I'm interested in retro games, but also modern games. So. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not much time for anything else. I do think talking to you and, this is going to, my usual audience is going to be like, well, it's not very interesting because you say this to everyone. But I do think you would enjoy Darkwing Duck. Have you ever seen the platformer Darkwing Duck?
Mm-hmm. It's on my list. Yeah.
Man, like, so my challenge, and I think the reason why I just went the retro emulation scene for my channel specifically, is it's really hard to get hold of these things here. Like for me to find the games that I want to play, Famicom is my system. Like I grew up on Famicom, and man, to find Famicom games, it feels like 5 to 6 years ago they were everywhere, and I just can't. The only ones I can find are the sort of cheap clones that came out once, when things just kind of started to fall apart with Famicom and Nintendo, the NES. So those are the only cartridges I can find. So I think that's why I got into retro emulation. But if I do get something, I need to find the Darkwing Duck cartridge because, man, that is my jam. Well, I don't say things like jam, but yeah.
People change. It's okay. No, that's a really good point. But I guess for when it comes to like Game Boy Advance, for example, I just have a flash card and I've been getting into the joy of flashing my own games to individual cartridges and just making my own games physically, not homebrew. So there's that. But, luckily I'm kind of, I've also got like for the GameCube, I can run games off a micro SD card. For PlayStation and PlayStation 2, I can run games off a micro SD card. And I just for some reason prefer to do that. Maybe it's because I want to play on a CRT.
Yes. You've just, my brain's like, whoa, what? I need to go through your channel. And have you done a lot of these things on your channel?
I did the Pico boot on GameCube on my channel. But the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, I think, was before my channel. Sometimes people assume that I started modding with my channel, but I didn't. I don't have that confidence to be like, hey, guys, I just started this thing. Watch me do it.
Well, then I'm going to ask you a technical question. I had the coolest experience. So my wife's family came from Australia, and they had kids 15, 10, 9, I think. Anyway, they heard that I was into retro gaming, and they were like, "Whoa, you are so cool, Uncle Aiden." And cool, Uncle Aiden. There we go.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially the smallest one, he thought I was the coolest. He was amazed. He was like, "I met a real YouTuber." And he went on and on about my subscribers, and he was like, "Oh, I subscribed to you, Uncle Aiden." Anyway, and it was incredible to see these little kids blown away by. Okay, so this is the funny playing Game Boy Color, and they just wanted to play this and my original Game Boy. That's all they wanted to play. I was like, "Look, I've got this big Steam Deck." They're like, "Oh, that's great, but can we play your Game Boy?" Like that's. I was.
If you gave them the Steam Deck, they would tip over.
Yeah,
it's so heavy.
That's so big. Yeah, but I was just like, these kids are amazing. They just want to play the old games. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool experience. But what I wanted to ask you is, so the thought crossed my mind, but the technicalities of it, and I guess I could just look it up on YouTube. So Funny Playing and a bunch of other people have those carts that you can flash. So could I buy that and flash a ROM to that and then just make my own games, like make the sticker and kind of go crazy?
Yeah. Pretty much. You'd need a cart flasher. But yeah, and you can even, I don't know how comfortable you are or aren't with soldering, but if you can make your own ones from scratch too. I make
drones. So yes, I'm getting better at soldering. Yeah.
Yeah. Bucket Mouse has has their own PCBs that you can order and get the parts off the website, the mouser Digi or something, and just solder them on and you're good. But you do need a donor for those. Whereas I guess if you bought the cart from like Funny Playing, you wouldn't need a donor.
Cool. I'm experiencing what I think my wife experiences on a daily basis, because I was like, I know about 50% of what she's saying.
Sorry, a donor, like a legit Game Boy game to pull parts from.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I see. All right. Okay, I'll look into that. But that'll be fun. I love projects like that, although I have so many things on my plate. So I'm going to do the quick fire things. I'm trying to see if this works, but let's see how it goes. What's your desert island game? This could be like a mainstream game.
Tetris.
I'm laughing.
It's a terrible question because a couple of people asked me this in my 10K Q&A, and I'm like, are we talking about a real desert island? Or is it like your favorite game, but just I'm going to gussy it up by saying desert island? Because if I'm on a desert island, I don't want to like play the same story over and over again. I just want to keep beating my high score.
Okay, so the technicalities of the desert island factor in here.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. I immediately laughed and then wanted to ridicule you, and then realized that I think I'm the same. Like it's a bit of a meme with my channel that I love Darkwing Duck and all that kind of thing. But whenever I sit in bed next to my wife and I want to play a game, it's always Tetris. So I've got these like very high powered devices. I just got the AYN Odin 2 Mini, all these names. And I think about 60% of the time I've been playing a Tetris on it. So I've just been finding out all the different Tetris games that I never got to play and emulating them, which is just ridiculous.
I'm excited for Tetris Museum.
Is that a new one that's on the way?
It's going to come out on the Switch, but it's like all the Tetrises.
Oh, that'll be nice. That is cool. I want to buy... Well, then it sounds like you're an aficionado, but someone just put me onto it. It's Tetris Effect.
Oh, yeah. I've been meaning to try that.
So you can buy it on the Steam Deck. I think it started on the Switch, and it's got this like surreal. So I've been playing it on the Odin 2 Mini, but it's too small. You can see it was designed for a bigger screen. And I want to play it on my XR glasses because it's like got this sort of surround sound thing. And the more you play, the more the lights flash. I can't decide if it's terrible or wonderful. So you'll have to go have a look. Tetris Effects. All right.
Yes.
Your retro game, your Desert Island retro game is going to be Tetris as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Tetris. Oh, but maybe the previous one, if it's any time, it would be Apotris, which is the homebrew Tetris. And then...
Whoa.
Sure.
Okay. How do you spell that? Apotris.
It's Apotris.
Ooh. Oh, I've seen this. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, my favorite Tetris game is the PSP one. I think that's my favorite. Probably just because it scales nicely on a 16:9 screen. Okay, so this is a nice one. What is your oldest or fondest childhood memory of gaming?
It was probably the first game and everything that I got. I don't know if I remember it myself or it's a false memory, but my aunt came over and with a Sega Mega Drive bundled with one of the Sonic games, I think maybe the second one, and Micro Machines. And apparently she'd gotten it on discount and she was super excited. And so that was like the only game that I had exposure to for a long time. And I loved it. And to the extent that when I finally got a Game Boy Advance, I didn't know other games. So I just bought Sonic.
Yeah, I was a huge Micro Machines kid as a kid. And I just, the game didn't work for me. But yeah, Sonic is awesome. I was talking to someone, I think, on the podcast, and I unlocked a memory that, because I was always like, my favorite memory is playing Darkwing Duck on my Famicom that I paid for with my pocket money. And then I suddenly remembered that my uncle had an Atari, I think it was 7800, in his cupboard. And then the one day I was like messing around, my aunt was obviously like, it's a very early memory, so I can barely remember. But I just remember playing the one with the little bullets going up. What's that? Galaga?
Oh, yeah.
Or Space Invaders, one of those.
Yes, yeah.
One of those two. But yeah, loved it. And very, very early memory. What's the thing you've done that you're most proud of?
I think in terms of creating, it's the Game Boy Pocket Color, because that was something that I wanted to make for so long. And when I first wanted to make it, I did not have the skills for it. And then I've made two.
Cool. Is that something that you've shared on your channel? So is this one that you built yourself or just a really extreme mod?
But what's the difference? I didn't like, I'm not an engineer or anything, so I don't know the details of creating something myself that's by Bucket Mouse, but I followed the instructions.
Bucket Mouse, okay. All right, what else have I got here? Absolute worst YouTube comments so far. We kind of touched on that in the beginning, but we can kind of circle back to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, those comments are awful, but the ones that actually get on, I probably shouldn't say it because some people might make it just to do so, but I hate the pervert comments, because you get men who are like probably older than me too, making some really gross comments, and like, I don't care. You can say, like, you can compliment people. You can be like, you're pretty. I like your hair. I like your shirt. But don't be weird. But when they're weird, I'm just like, ooh. If you feel the grease come out of the screen.
Yeah. I apologize for men my age around the world. I don't, because it's usually whenever these cringy moments happen, I realize the person is a man and he's my age and he's probably white. And he just, it's just, I'm ashamed.
Everyone has their own issues in their generation, I suppose. But I don't know if perversion is restricted to like Gen X.
This is true. This is true, yeah. On that interesting note, where can people find you online? So obviously, the YouTube channel, which I've shared.
Yeah. I'm also on Blue Sky. I think it's CoolUncle Marisa. Okay. And my personal Instagram is Marisa Moreau, but I'm not terribly active on those platforms. So
I see. Okay, so people must just find you.
And you can find me on Discord in CoolUncle's Cafe Discord. The invite is in my descriptions, and you can find me there.
Okay, cool. Yes, you definitely have a nice Discord. You seem pretty active, hey?
On Discord, yeah. Everyone's really nice. Yeah. It's very casual. So.
Yeah. And I think that's the way it needs to be. I think so. Yeah. That for me is like, who was it that I messaged someone and I said, have you seen this cool Uncle Marisa? She seems to be doing really well. She's very interesting. And he was like, yeah, it's so annoying. These young people know how to use the internet.
That's funny. Okay.
Okay. No, it is. I mean, like even the way that you do your YouTube channel, it reflects a deep understanding of how the internet is kind of flowing now. Whereas, I do tend to be one of those, hey guys, I'm going to tell you how to do the blah, blah, blah. And then I carry on,
I mean, it's fair. It was not intentional for me at all. If anything, I was the one also looking at videos of like, I saw a really interesting video come up. It was like, why do YouTubers have their microphone in the shot now? And I was curious because it's not what you think of as professional. You don't watch a movie and everyone has like the mic on their collar hanging out. But it was talking about the shift from basically corporations taking over social media and trying to differentiate yourself from that. But I wasn't intentionally trying to do that. It just happened. So initially when people were like, oh, I like how casual you are, I would get a bit offended because I was like, no, I'm a professional.
I'm a professional actor. I do social media. I know what I'm doing.
But I now realize it's a compliment.
Yes. So it's funny because I have exactly the same thing. So I will have my YouTuber friends going, hey, Aiden, that was an amazing off-the-cuff video. And I'll be like, I planned that effing video for 4 days. Yeah. So I also come across pretty off-the-cuff, maybe just a little bit more shouty than you.
I mean, it's good though, because that's the thing, right? Like if you're doing something right, no one's going to notice. They're going to think like it's effortless. So if people are thinking you're effortless, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, Marisa, it's been really cool chatting to you. I think that we definitely have room for episode number 2 in a couple of months, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I'm hoping that. Actually, I secretly know that the YouTube channel is going to take off. It is already. So, hang in there because you're doing really well.
Thank you. And it'll all be thanks to you as well. All to you.
Obviously. Cool. Thanks, Marisa. See you soon. Oh dear. Hello?
I'm still here.